who say, which country does the president live in when he says the economy is not broke? Because we are talking about an economy that has suffered, that has a historic, debt burden, sky high inflation. One needs more than 15 cedis for a single dollar. So what does he mean when he says the economy is not broke? In fact, he uses the words that he had made the sacrifices that bondholders made, quote, form the basis of revival of the economy. Revival of a healthy economy?
Samson, when we talk about Ghana's economy, it does not have only 3 indicators. I must admit, just as the president did, that inflation or cost of living is a very important indicator. So when we look at an inflation rate of about 23% at the end of November, it is not something we are proud of, and admittedly so. But the conversation around the economy cannot be left with only conversations about inflation. As relevant as inflation are other indicators of economic development. And let me take you through some of them. There is comparative data of Ghana's total GDP that the president or the NPP government inherited of 56 billion US dollars. As the president leaves office, it is estimated that the country's GDP stands at 76 billion US dollars. A difference of about $20 billion during his term of office through industrialization, because we've seen the quarterly growth rate of 2024 and see how industry is contributing to that growth. We cannot say that the president did nothing. If not for anything at all, what he was giving as the country's GDP, he did not send us in recession. Also, there was this trend post-COVID, or even during COVID. The world experienced a recession. Incumbent governments were punished for it. All over the world, not just Africa. In Africa, even incumbent governments that were not toppled became unpopular, like the ANC in South Africa. If it happened to the Tories, if it happened to the Democrats, that's why some of our colleagues will say we were aware that globally, the kind of hardships that some of these global challenges have brought on the world and the recession that the world order has gone through, is said that people are really dealing with real-time hardships. But for incumbent governments, your responsibility is not to join the rants. So sometimes when people are ranting and you are also not ranting, it's as if you are tone deaf. But the moment you are given the power and authority, yours is to provide solutions and walk people through what you are doing. So it may not be as smooth and interesting a conversation, but this government is saying there is a track record of how governments spend in election year and the deficit that they record, just as they recorded in 2016 over 6%. But in our 2024 election year, we made sure we did not saddle the country with such figures. Okay. The government is saying that, yes, we have a situation whereby the energy sector is still having some debts, but this is what we inherited. And with the projections that were given, that the energy sector debt is estimated to go beyond 12.5 billion, because of our efforts, we are at where we took off from. And at least
2.5.
Yes, and comparatively, and in all honesty, every well-meaning Ghanaian will agree with me that the power situation under President Akufo-Addo was better than the power situation under former President Mahama.
All right. The question is, whatever the circumstance of the circumstance, knowing what the economy is, should the president be saying the economy is not broke? An economy that has suffered junk status rating, an economy that has seen thousands of its citizens, even in the middle class, pushed into poverty.